What's up, everybody? Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Overwatch video. And in this video, we gotta break down everything we know about Overwatch 2 so far and all the remaining content yet to be announced, plus more in-depth leaks and things like that. So we're just gonna waste no more time and jump right in. We gotta understand that Overwatch 2 is just right on the horizon. I know it seems like it's freaking super far away, but with the Overwatch League playing on an early version of Overwatch 2 starting in April, we're most likely gonna be getting a playable beta sometime in May, and even by the end of the May or the start of the summer, we'll be playing Overwatch 2. Now, there's actually been a lot of content releasing about Overwatch 2, including some pro matches on existing maps where we got to see kind of how the game has been played, and there's several really important things that we need to point out about Overwatch 2. First off, there's been a lot of speculation about that 5v5, but looking at it, it actually looks a lot cleaner, especially from a spectator's point of view. A lot less cluttered fights, the fights end a lot more cleanly as they did before, and the fights look a lot less attrition-y. They don't grind out anywhere near as long, and I actually think it looks pretty good. Now, on top of that, there have been some really cool animations like Hanzo's Dragon Strike now animates around his arm and things like that. There's just a lot of really cool attention to detail things that I, for one, think look really cool and has me excited aesthetically about Overwatch 2, not to mention the sound design. I'm gonna play this clip, a little bit of the fights. Just listen to how the guns and the weapons sound here.
Thane, look at the Bastion reworks. So you see he's able to move while in the Sentry form now. Has a secondary fire that's like a grenade. It can stick to players, bounce off of walls. And then also the ultimate, the airstrike, but Blister on the Symmetra. Very effective no matter if you're playing Overwatch 1, Overwatch 2, playing close to the spawn door here on Havana.
Yeah, that sounds really freaking nice. Honestly, I'm very excited to be able to play and have these new updated sounds. I think the sounds, specifically in Overwatch, have been one of their weaker attributes, especially aging over the course of the last 5 years. So I'm definitely down for some new sounds, and it sounds pretty freaking good. Now, we've already seen the Ryan, Zarya, Winston reworks, the Bastion, the Sombra. We all know those have huge reworks. Brig no longer has stun, and CC has been changed a lot, being moved away from a lot of the DPS and the supporting roles, besides rare exceptions, just like Ana Sleep Dart, how she's keeping that. Now, there's several other characters that are still on the chopping block to get reworked. Orisa, Sigma, Doomfist, McCree, and Moira, and maybe potentially some more. Specifically, characters like Orisa and Sigma, I imagine they get reverted in a large part or get amplified even more so because they are going to be that solo tank, and I think these characters can be. I'm a little bit unoptimistic about specifically characters like Roadhog, Zarya, and D.Va being solo tanks. I don't imagine that these would be that great of options in their current state, and I don't know exactly how you would amplify them to the point of being good solo tanks with their kit staying intact. If I'm being honest, the amount of space they create is much more akin to being a fat DPS rather than being a traditional tank that creates space by using shielding, by using CC, by using initiation. And they can't do that unlike a lot of the other tanks like Sigma, Orisa, Hammond, Winston, Reinhardt. I mean, they kind of just don't really fit that well in a solo tank environment. Now, of course, Doomfist is just going to have to be so goddamn different. They've talked about potentially moving him to that tanking role, but the fact that Doomfist's entire kit relies on CC and CC's being moved away from the DPS role, yeah, it just doesn't make sense that he would exist, and he's probably not going to exist at all in his current state, and yeah, he might be in a completely different role. We'll have to wait and see. Imagine like a support Doomfist or something like that, though. That would be pretty wild, to say the least. Now, McCree, of course, besides getting a name deletion and a name change, McCree is probably going to be losing his stun, which is interesting. I'm actually wondering what they will do to balance McCree, because I think that was like one of the most important aspects of his kit, having that stun. But if they're removing CC from the DPS slot, then they're probably gonna have to replace it completely, and they might change up the entire character. I'm interested in what direction they're gonna go. And then they did mention that they're gonna rework Moira. I'm interested about this one. I'm not entirely sure what they're gonna do to rework the character. I would really like it if they added some more aggressive elements to her kit. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Now, of course, a lot of the other characters are getting cosmetic redesign, from Tracer to Reinhardt to Widowmaker, and everything's going to be looking fresh and vibrant, and that's really exciting. But there's actually several things that we have been hinted at, but we haven't seen fully broken down, and these are the big elephants in the room. First off is the official review of the new characters. We're going to be getting like 4 to 7 new characters. Sojourn is one that's been announced forever, so long ago. We haven't seen any of their abilities, and here's what they're most likely going to do. Up towards the release, or up towards the Overwatch League being able to play a pre-version of Overwatch 2, they are probably going to be releasing multiple characters every single week, or every week they're going to be releasing a new character, announcing it to generate hype. Because to me, that's the time when Overwatch has the most hype, and if they announce like a character once a week for an entire like month and a half up to Overwatch 2's release date, that is how you get a lot of eyes back on the game and you build up that hype out of nowhere. We could have like a completely dead game and then it just gets revitalized just like that, and it would be so damn cool and hype, and that's probably what they're waiting for, even though I really wish they would give us something at this point. On top of that, we're gonna be needing new map reveals. A lot of the maps haven't been revealed. We've only seen 2 push maps so far, unfortunately, and we're probably going to need a lot more of that to make the mode competitive, and there has actually been a hint at a 5th competitive mode. So I have to wait and see what exactly that means, and I'm interested in what another competitive mode would be going forward. Now, on top of that, we need more PvE content. We haven't really seen much PvE at all, and that's definitely still going to be a big question mark, because that's most likely going to be what you actually have to pay for in Overwatch 2, because Overwatch 1 is most likely going free to play, and Overwatch 1 is becoming Overwatch 2. So the multiplayer is all going to be free to play, but the specific PvE is going to be behind a paywall, and it's going to be interesting how many people actually opt to buy that. I know I probably will, but I know a lot of people who are not interested in it at all, but we'll have to see how cool it is. Now, if I'm going to be honest, the one thing that I actually would be interested in is potentially moving not only some characters from the DPS role to the tanking role, but vice versa, moving characters from the tanking role to the DPS role. I've already talked about how some tanks just don't really make sense in a 5v5 format, and I think that you could definitely shrink their size, rework them dramatically to make them viable in a different category. But I really want to know your opinion about Overwatch 2 being only about 30 weeks away to, at the very least, being played at the Overwatch League, and us maybe getting our hands on the beta. Are you really excited? Is your hype growing? Or are you a little bit hesitant about that 5v5 and the different character reworks, and how do you feel about all of it? I really want to know your opinion down below. Go to the Game Leap website for in-depth tips and tricks, guides, everything you need to dominate Overwatch. You got to go check it out right now. But thank you so much for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the video. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time.